U.S. versus Sean Combs. We are on day 20. I'll start with the morning where the mistrial was denied. Essentially, the judge, he made a comment, something like, look, Nicole Westmoreland, her cross-examination of Brianna Bongelin was like this Perry Mason moment, but that's not a fodder for a mistrial. The defense did a really good job of undermining the witness testimony, and that's that. And Alexandra Shapiro was just essentially saying that the government knew that Brianna Bongelin was possibly going to perjure herself because they knew about the date of the photo, and they had the information that Diddy was out of town for those days. So there's some back and forth on that. And then the motion to call Dr. Hughes as a witness back, who was the trauma expert, the government wanted to recall her. That was denied. The judge, he said that would sort of prejudice the defense, thinking, oh, this witness is more important than others, so we're going to call her back. And there is a juror issue. So the juror issue, we don't actually know what that is. There have been rumors of social media, but the defense has said they don't have an issue with this juror, but the government has to look a little bit deeper into it before they make a decision. And it's juror number 6. They kind of let that slip. So, okay, Jane's cross-examination, it's being done by Tenny Garagos, and her style is very cool. She's kind of like, talking to a girlfriend. She's very relatable, and at the beginning, it seemed more of just like a dialogue between the two of them. We heard again how much Jane loved him, how she would do anything for him, and the fact that she met with the government about 24 times, and she also met with the defense a few times. I think it was twice. And Diddy has not pressured her in any way, even though he is paying for her lawyer, and they have not spoken or seen each other in 8 months since the arrest. Now, she reiterated that she never really wanted to break up with Diddy when she would tell him that she didn't want to continue to participate with other men in these sexual situations, but Diddy would sort of hang the financial stuff over her head. And then Tenny Garagos points out that some text messages between them where Jane wanted privacy for these hotel nights, and she didn't want them to necessarily be at hotels all the time, which is why in 2023 she suggested getting this house for privacy purposes, for hotel night purposes. And we saw a text kind of reflecting this, but also she added, this house would be good because, it's a good school system and et cetera, et cetera. So, and that also goes to the fact that they kept a third phone as well for specific videos that they would take of one another in these acts. Now, we also heard that some things that were weird. Diddy's favorite show is Dateline, and they would watch it until they fell asleep. And there was a moment where, they're talking about how she liked to take care of him after hotel nights, and she liked to give him foot massages, and she added that she liked to bathe him. There was kind of some looks in the gallery, and he kind of smiled and nodded when she talked about the foot massages, and he also smiled and nodded when she talked about how easy it was to get into his phone because he had an easy password, which is why they had the third phone. And let me see. Oh, Tenny also brought up the fact about Jane saying that she couldn't really work when she was with Diddy because he took up all of her time. Well, it turns out she had and still has a dress line, and Diddy was very supportive of that dress line. He even invested in it. I think it was something like $20,000. And she kind of clarified. She's like, yeah, I couldn't do my influencer stuff. But she said he was very encouraging of her and her dress line, and wanted her to have this entrepreneurial spirit. And she talked a lot about that, about how he lifted her up and how he had this larger than life personality, which we've heard before, and why she was so attracted to him, why she liked the hotel nights, the alone time she got with him. She testified that even in their own private sex life, they used baby oil and red lights, and it wasn't just the hotel nights. And okay, this is when it got really interesting, in my opinion. Jane started doing research about why Diddy liked to see her with other men, and she came across the word cuckold. So she referred to Diddy as a cuck on the stand, and Tenny asked her, if she, what else she got from this research. And she said that she found that cucks were bisexually curious, meaning they maybe didn't want to engage in these acts with the same sex, so they would use their partner to do this and sort of tickle their curiosity. That was definitely another moment. There was another moment where she talked about being jealous, and I had always assumed, yes, it was Gina that she was jealous of, but a couple other names were brought up, and Young Miami was one of them. And Gina admitted that she was extremely jealous when Diddy bought Young Miami a Maybach and put it on social media, or Young Miami did. And she said, Tenny said, so you were jealous of these gifts? You weren't getting gifts like this. And she said, yeah. And then she said that she got Diddy to buy her, he bought her this Van Cleef & Arpels jewelry set after that. Let me see. Oh, we also heard other voice notes. I mean, Tenny made sure to say, listen, we heard some voice notes, like 2 or 3 yesterday, from Sean Combs to you. But it's fair to say you guys were together 3.5 years plus. Like, there are thousands of voice notes. And she's like, yeah. And we heard one where, sorry, I have to stand up now. We heard one where he refers to her as a crack pipe, meaning that she's so addictive, and how much fun they had after this Turks and Caicos trip. And she sends him a voice note back, essentially saying how much fun she had, and refers to him as a crack pipe. She also texts him saying that, she's so thankful for him. God sent him to her. Let me see. Actually, you know what? It is easier to do this squatting. Sorry. Let me see. Oh, it also came up that KK is not a fan of her, and she said that made their relationship difficult at times because KK had a very strong opinion, and she was a big part of Diddy's life. And then it came up towards the end when we almost broke for lunch about how she really cared about Paul, the entertainer or escort, and how in July of 2024, she said she missed Paul and they invited Paul over. And she described essentially that night with Paul, she described it as making love to Paul, which was another moment. And let's see what else. Oh, she revealed that Diddy was on antidepressants. I think it was Prozac. And, she didn't think he was very healthy. She wanted to help him become healthier, be a better person. And, there was a moment that Tenny brought up some of the drug transportation that was discussed in direct. And there were text messages between Jane and KK where KK was kind of saying, I don't exactly know about, where these drugs are, type of thing. And I'm paraphrasing. She just said, I don't talk to him, meaning security, the guy who would have the drugs. And they wanted to confirm, Tenny wanted to confirm there was no phone call between KK and Jane when it came to these drugs. I guess there was like a 1-minute phone call, but it wasn't really pertaining to that. And that was confusing to me a little bit. I kind of could speculate that maybe Tenny was trying to exonerate KK from having this co-conspirator title, or at least when it came to drugs, or creating doubt there. That's all I could really gather, but I will figure it out later this afternoon during the continuation of her cross. And her cross is expected to go until Thursday. So it's a short day tomorrow in court. It's like 1 to 5. So I'll probably just do one update. But I'll update everybody else later because I'm sure I forgot a couple things. But that's the extent of it. Okay, thanks. One other thing. Jane actually said, which was really shocking, that she only gets $4,700 a month in child support from her baby daddy. If you have children and you live in a city like New York City or LA or even a suburb, you will know $4,700 for one child is not enough. Okay, now I'm done.